Yes, no, maybe. I don't know.
If you grew up in the mid-2000s, then you're very much familiar with this intro. This is the intro song sequence to what I personally consider a classic, Malcolm in the Middle. Before Walter White was Heisenberg, life was unfair, being born into a crazed family of social rejects and misfits. As a kid, I loved watching the show, and as of lately, I've gone back and rewatched it. A lot of the comedy still holds up today. Like I said, this show is a classic. One of the things that have always puzzled me though, was its intro. The show had a mixture of different scenes played throughout the show with its main cast, but it also had scenes from different mediums of film mixing with the opening song, Boss of Me by They Might Be Giants. So being a dumb little kid during this time and seeing these different scenes play out with the scenes from the show, I couldn't help but think that maybe these things were actually going to play out within the show. They didn't. Well, if you never bothered to do a Google search on the opening sequences, then stick around, cause I'm here to share something with you. Number 1. Giant Turtle. The Giant Turtle is from a movie titled 1 Million Years BC that came out in 1966. The scene shows 3 to 4 men fighting off a giant turtle and failing to do so. You can see that while defending themselves, they're actually being pushed back by an enormous reptile, hence the Giant Turtle. Alongside the scene, we are shown 2 women trying to take care of a man who may or may not be dead. One of the women actually pushes the other one away. Number 2. Nazca. I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's ever wondered who this badass looking dude is. It turns out that his name is Shigami Shinri, and he's from Nazca, a 1998 anime about the reincarnations of ancient Inca warriors. Have you ever actually wondered why this dude was smiling so sinisterly? It's cause he just finished sneaking up on someone and killing them. He smiles as he watches his victim's body float down the river. Number 3. Kraken. Wouldn't you know that this is the Kraken? The Kraken in this rendition comes from a movie called Clash of the Titans from 1981. The Kraken in this scene is making his way out of the water to go after a woman who is being chained to the wall. The footage I found isn't nearly long enough to see if he gets to her, but we do see a hero being shown in a Pegasus, and I'm assuming that he's on his way to save her. Number 4. Woman dangling next to a pterodactyl. This is another scene from the previously mentioned 1 million years BC. The woman was captured by a large pterodactyl and is about to be fed to its children, when all of a sudden, a second pterodactyl shows up and starts fighting the dactyl with the woman. The babies are losing their minds as they watch their food just dangling above them. Number 5. Anime Skater. Another scene from the anime Nazca. It appears that the guy is a part of a gang of skaters, and the shot that appears in Malcolm is him skating right before he crashes into a student. The guy threatens him and tells him, "Watch where you're going," even though he's the one who crashed into the student in the first place. Immediately after the confrontation, a bunch of other skaters show up and start circling the 2 students until a final skater crashes down with a sinister smile and a switchblade. Number 6. Mud Monster. The Mud Monster is from a movie titled Creatures from the Haunted Sea, which is actually a horror comedy film, and the Mud Monster is a parody of Creature from the Black Lagoon. The monster isn't the only aspect of parody in this film, as the movie also parodies spy film. In the scene, the woman being snatched had just professed her love to her husband until the day that she dies, before, being snatched by the Mud Monster. Number 7. Ski Flaming Guy. Alright, so I looked up and down the internet trying to find this episode to get more context to why the skier was on fire. I wasn't able to find anything other than what had been shown in the opening. The scene is apparently from an episode of Thrill Seekers, the TV series. Number 8. Wrestling Match Nitro. This is a match that aired on television on WCW Monday Nitro on November 16, 1998. The match is between Chris Benoit and Bret Hitman Hart. Their fight starts off with Hart man-riding Benoit on the offensive until Benoit finally gets to make his move. Hart gets his ass handed to him for a good little while until he finally gets his chance again. That's when we see his move that will ultimately make it into the Malcolm in the Middle intro. The fight ends with Benoit winning and getting rushed by another wrestler. Number 9. Robot Head. The robot head scene in the Malcolm opening is pretty quick. It's one of those blink and you missed it kind of things, but nonetheless, I still wanted to include it because it comes from its own series that isn't Malcolm. The robot head is from a BBC show called Out of the Unknown from 1965 to 1971, and the scene is exactly from an episode titled Liar. The setting of the episode is in a manufacturing lab, and prior to the headshot, there's a shot of a couple of workers playing with an arm. Just after that, we see the shot with the head snapping close, and after that, we see the final product. The completed robot is seen getting up on its feet and following a man. Number 10. Man beating the brain with an axe. This scene is actually my favorite of the bunch, and I might go hunt down its movie to watch it in its entirety later on. The movie is called The Planet Arous from 1957. The story is about brain aliens trying to rule the world. Not this brain, more like this brain. The brain alien actually floats around trying to dodge the man swinging the axe. There's a woman watching in horror and a happy-go-lucky dog hanging about. Eventually the man makes contact with the brain and it kills it. And just when we think that it's dead and everyone is rejoicing that they survived the brain transferred its being into the dog. Number 11. The Boxing Match. The boxing match is the final other medium shot that made it into the opening of Malcolm in the Middle. I think its placing in the series is actually best, as it kind of exemplifies the chaos that is the show and its characters. This boxing match is between Cuban boxer Pedro Cardenas and Canadian Willie DeWitt. The fight took place in 1982 at the North American Championship in Las Vegas. Pedro Cardenas is the one who KO'd the referee, whose name was Bert Lowe's. The funny thing is that Lowe's was replaced by another ref, and he too faced the wrath of Cardenas' punch. I'm not sure if punching two refs had anything to do with it, but DeWitt was declared the winner in the second round. So that's pretty much it, guys. These are all the scenes that made it into the Malcolm in the Middle opening. These other mix of mediums in the opening was something that I always thought was cool, but I never knew where they were from. It's always nice to have some context to know what they're all about. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up as it would be appreciated, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.